Hey, what's up guys? Jackson here at Toasty DIY, and today I'm excited to be checking out this Kaiweets Borescope. Let's go ahead and get into it. More specifically, this is the KBA01 Borescope that comes in around $100. You can get this bad boy on Amazon, or you can get it straight from their website. We will leave some affiliate links down below if you would like to purchase one of these today. But what I'm excited about is this is actually something I used to use for my old job. When I worked at a mechanic shop, specifically an exhaust and muffler shop, but we did pretty much everything, we used Borescopes almost every single day. We really like to use these to look at things like catalytic converters. Rather than having to take the whole converter down, we could basically just drill a hole in the actual pipe and then run our borescope in and see what the core or the honeycomb on the catalytic converter looked like, which made it to where troubleshooting was a lot easier. Not to mention things like dropped parts, or if you need to fish things through, whether you're a plumber, an electrician, a mechanic, an airplane mechanic, these really do have a lot of uses, and these can come optional with a 5-foot or a 6-foot lead. So to go over some of the tech specs, we have a 4.3-inch screen, and it is a 1920 by 1080 image. The camera itself is 8mm, so that's something that's important if you have very specific use cases. Make sure you do some measurements. We have a 70-degree viewing angle, which is a little bit pinched, but we'll see how it looks once we're actually getting in things. It is waterproof to an extent. We're IP67 waterproof grade. That may be mainly for the camera itself. The operating temperature is 0 degrees Celsius all the way up to 45 degrees Celsius, so not too bad on the operating range. Now the camera can get up to 80 C, so 0 degrees Celsius to 80 degrees Celsius. The battery is 2000 milliamp hours. It is lithium ion. We have 3.5 hours of battery life while it's on. It does use Type-C to charge, which we love to see, and the charging is 5 volts at 1 amp or 5 volts at 2 amps, so in theory you don't really need a whole lot to charge this. I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited to actually open this camera up. So let's go ahead and do a quick unboxing. I don't think it's gonna be too difficult. Ooh, always love to see this. So we open the box straight into a full-on package, and there's nothing else in this box. So I like the simplicity there. Let's see if it stays nice and simple on the inside. Pretty darn simple. So you can see here, we have a user manual, and we quite literally have the borescope here. So I'll go ahead and get this out of the box. And this is interesting. I've not, so I've had like a couple borescopes now. I've not had one where the lead is on the bottom, but that seems a little more convenient. Normally, I'm used to them coming out of the back of the screen, basically. So, I don't know, we'll see. I think this will be a little more convenient. Oh, this is interesting. So, obviously, the whole entire cord area is pretty flexible. It's somewhat stiff, like, it's not quite, I mean, you can see here, it does fall on its own when you're looking at like longer lengths, but obviously for like shorter distances like this, stays up on its own just fine. We do actually get some attachments here. So inside of this little tube, we got a good amount of stuff. I think we should have a magnetic attachment. Let me see if we can get this off. So that just pops off. Yep, so we have a hook attachment. We have a magnet attachment. Yeah, fairly strong. We have a, oh, this is cool. This is a mirror for doing like some 90-degree, basically like upward shooting or downward shooting. And then we have some type of collet here that might be to hold some of these on, or I guess this actually just goes on to cover the lens. It's kind of like a blank basically. So you can see there, boom. Now we have our camera kind of protected. And then the last thing inside of this box, like I said, really simple unboxing guys, is a USB-A, so large adapter, to a USB-C. And you don't really get a charging brick included like most things nowadays, sadly. But the good news is you can use almost anything to charge. It's a very low amperage. So in theory, you could hook this up to your car cigarette lighter. You could hook it up to a laptop. You could just use your standard phone charger. So yeah, you definitely have options for charging. So there's like a little wheel on here, and it articulates the head of the borescope. That is a weird looking image, but I can see how it'd be extremely useful because all the borescopes, you know, we had a snap on one at the shop I worked at, and you couldn't do this. You just had to kind of play around with the wire until you kind of got it where you wanted it. And sometimes it just didn't happen. So that is actually pretty cool, even though it looks really weird. And I'm kind of curious, I don't think that the actual camera, like the, I guess it'd be the borescope, actually comes off. Which I will say, that's one thing, both borescopes I've had in the past, they actually both detached in case you ever really damaged the camera or anything like that. I'm not getting the vibe this one, I mean, maybe it does come off by taking it apart. Yeah, they don't talk about it being detachable, so I guess that could be one downside. You know, luckily it's not super expensive, so I guess I think the world if something does happen to the actual camera itself, but it does kind of suck because it may render the rest of your device useless if it does in fact break. All right, so I figure we'll go ahead and get a first time turn on. So it looks like our power button is right here. Now I have not charged this, so I have no clue. All right, look at that. It's so weird seeing the borescope move around. So we'll look at the camera right now. Boom. So there's our Panasonic behind us. So our image is sideways right now, which obviously this does have built-in rotation. Let's see what the different light modes are. So it's basically, it looks like we got like about 3 different light modes. And then we have a mode button. So this can go see our videos and stuff, because this does have a micro USB. And you can actually, it has a couple connections here. So let's see what we have on this side. Yeah, we got a micro SD card, which actually, look, it comes with one installed. I did not know that. Let's see how big it is. So we have a 32 gig micro SD card. Comes for free with the camera, that's pretty cool. We have a reset button right here, and we have our USB-C for charging. So once again, just simple. Not really much to it, but the micro SD is cool because you could actually go through and save video and pictures. So you can change your video resolution, your video quality. Oh, this has audio. Would have not expected that. I'm wondering if it actually records audio through the camera or through the larger device itself. You can change the screen brightness. You can say how much memory you have left. Let's see, you can format it. It looks like you can even do firmware updates on this, which is pretty cool. You can do like auto power off, which we'll probably turn that on in case we forget to turn it off. So 3 minutes, that's pretty respectable. Yeah, not a bad settings menu. I'm not used to having a borescope that even really has settings, so this is definitely a change up. Let's see what happens if we press OK. I guess that just takes an image, okay. Or it freezes the frame, maybe. So that's interesting. Oh, and this actually has a temp reading on it. Once again, I wonder if that's temp for the actual camera or for the screen itself. I would think it'd be for the camera. But anyways, so now that we've taken, kind of a good look at it, unboxed it, it looks like you might even have speakers on the outside. We'll go ahead and actually test this out in some real life scenarios. So one of the first things I'm gonna do to actually test this camera here out is I got my old Datsun pickup truck here. And it's what I believe to be a fairly low mileage engine, like maybe 60,000 miles. So I'm actually gonna take one of these spark plugs out and use the borescope to see what the cylinder head is looking like. So I'm kind of curious what the actual piston's looking like, what the walls of like the piston walls or cylinder walls, sorry, and then the actual cylinder head, maybe even the valves, if we can actually get that to curve up as long as the piston's not top dead center. All right, here we go. So we got a little bit of a tough spot. So I can see our spark plug hole here. There's the threads, and we are in. Man, that's actually a really good quality image. So, wow, okay. Yeah, I can actually see here that the sides of our cylinder wall, let's see if we can get a little closer. Maybe we can kind of turn. So right now I'm using the dial. Yeah, that's actually a really cool feature. Like, look at this. I can move the actual camera inside here. I was thinking about it, and a lot of the borescopes will actually have a front-facing camera, like a side camera, but they usually have different qualities, and sometimes it's not on the side that you need it. So the articulating thing is actually really cool. Does that change to... Oh, now we're recording. Cool. This is cool. All right, so now we're actually recording. Oh, look, we can still see a factory stamp. Look at that little C right there. Yeah, that's either a factory stamp or a foreign object got in there at one point and stamped it itself, but I'm assuming that's probably from Nissan. Yeah, pretty clean. You can almost see the bare metal on the top of the piston head. A little bit of like carbon buildup, which is totally to be expected with an engine that's over 40 years old, and even if it only has like 60,000 miles. But I would say the mileage is accurate just based on the overall condition of this. So like I said, this is just one of like the really useful things with this tool. For checking things like catalytic converters, it is A1. All right, so that first test was pretty cool, but I just know there's gonna be a car enthusiast who's going to love this one that I kind of just randomly came up with. But I thought about my old 67 Roadster, and this is gonna apply to any car, but especially for cars with direct injection. So, your Audis, your BMWs, really a lot of cars use direct injection these days, where instead of having your fuel spray into the intake area, like 90% of all cars did, it sprays directly into the cylinder head, and therefore your valves do not get cleaned by the fuel, because fuel is very self-cleaning. It cleans your valve train and everything, but on direct injection, it doesn't do that. So this can be really useful. I'm going to be showing you guys on this classic car just because it's really cool. I get to go through one of the side draft carburetors here. So I'm going to start off kind of further out. This might be a little difficult to do with one hand. All right, so we can see here, this is the butterfly for, let's see if I can angle this at all. We're sideways right now. This will do. So this is the butterfly. So I'm gonna open this up like this. Now, I'm gonna need to put the camera down here. I wish, here, you know what? We'll record on the actual device. So, oh, I'm in picture mode. So let's go mode. And we're filming. All right. I'm gonna put this camera down for a second. You guys will get voiceover and hopefully see what's happening on the screen here. So now we are in the intake area. I can see where there's like a little, some type of threading, probably for like a, something that's blocked off now, honestly. So you can see here we have our 2 intake ports. And I think that right there is yep, that's an intake valve. So this is crazy. I can actually see part of my, one of my valve stems here, which is super cool. So I'll show you guys what I'm seeing here. So here's what I'm seeing here, and you guys can probably see the same thing on camera, but that is super cool, and that's a really freaking clean valve stem. This is a push rod engine, so a little bit different than just seeing the top of the valve, but still, that's freaking crazy. We're like inside of a combustion engine for the second time, and it's just so easy. So once again, just another really cool example of this borescope. Now look guys, this doesn't have to be used just on super professional stuff to make money. This right here is a vacuum cleaner. It's like a portable vacuum cleaner, and I just kind of wanted to see what the inside's looking like, because I noticed that it has not been the most suctiony lately. So we're gonna see if we can get this down in here. Might need to see if we can angle this a little better. I'll go ahead and start recording on the camera too. All right, recording on there. All right, this one's a little bit awkward. Okay, looks like we're making our way down the tube. Look, you can actually see the light through the tube. Look at that. All right, so we're getting further down, and I suspect that we have a little bit of a, oh yeah, look at all that freaking dog hair, dog and cat hair. Look at that. So, you know, even for like more simple things, you know, like vacuum cleaners, you know, plumbing at your house, checking like a P-trap, or maybe you have like concrete floors, need to check down in a concreted in P-trap even. You know, the kind of things that can cost you a lot of money, where you can just throw a hook on the end of this if you want, because we got attachments. We got magnet, we got the hook, retrievers basically, and you could pull something like this out. In this case, I have an air duster that I can use to clean out this vacuum, but it's just really cool to see that, you know, it doesn't have to be used professionally, but if you are a professional, add this to your freaking garage. So guys, like I said, this thing's actually pretty cool, and this is not like a paid promotion. They were nice enough to send it over, but they wanted an honest review, and honestly, this thing is awesome. This is absolutely replacing, I have one of those like old Harbor Freight borescopes that I probably got like close to 10 years ago now. It's black and white, and literally it like doesn't work anymore. It still has an image, it's just such poor quality that I tried to use it a few weeks ago, I think, to check something like that first dots and like something inside of a cylinder head, and I couldn't even see what I was looking at. So this thing is actually pretty freaking cool. It's waterproof too, so like I said, for plumbers and stuff like that, you can actually put it down the drain. I can definitely see this being so useful for all the mechanic stuff that I do, but also just stuff around the house. I mean, I do a lot of things involving electrical work and plumbing because I love doing DIY stuff, and yeah, this is gonna make things a lot easier. I actually, no joke, could have used this about 3 days ago. I was installing a winch on my Gator, which I'll show you guys here, and I had to spend like an hour getting this winch installed because I needed to run some wiring. Let me turn this around. I needed to run some wiring through, it's basically kind of like a transmission tunnel that goes underneath here, and there's no way to access it. It just has a part that goes in and a part that goes out to the battery, and I needed to run the winch battery cables, the positive and negative that I installed, basically through the bottom there, that trans tunnel. And I basically just used a piece of welding wire and fished it through, but it took me no joke like over an hour because I kept snagging on things. And if I was like, man, if I could just see what I was doing, this would not be a problem at all. And honestly, the image quality is pretty good. And the fact that if you are like an at-home inspector, a plumber, a mechanic, I mean, I could name 1,000 different things. Being able to take pictures and video and show them to the customer is very important. And the USB-C cable added on this, you can hook this straight up to your phone, or if you have like a laptop or a Surface or something, you can do the same thing, or take the micro SD card out even and plug it directly in. The temperature reading's pretty cool. You got time and date stamp even to prove to customers, you know, that you were in fact there and whatnot. So yeah, sorry about all the ranting, guys. The moral of the story is this Kaiweets, the moral of the story is this Kaiweets Borescope is really good. For the $100 price point, no joke, I would definitely buy it. And I mean, the articulating function's super cool too. It's just, it's goofy looking, but man, does it come in handy. So anyways, I'm gonna go and wrap up this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed watching. Make sure you check out Toasty Bros, Toasty Clips, check out PCBros.tech. And if you wanna buy one of these, I will have a Amazon affiliate link down below, and that does help us out. Every single purchase you guys make, we get a little bit of kickback from it. So hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys later.